you're also at the point, Richard, in your career where you're probably getting a lot of calls to spar other heavyweights. You may or may not be. And also just like you might be in a lot of different training camps because you're early in your career, whatever the case may be. What have some of those pro experiences been for you? Like, whose camps have you been in? Who have you potentially sparred with? And who are some of the guys that you've matched up with that, you may have to see down the line at some point as you're progressing through your career?
Yeah, so I mean, like getting ready for the Olympics, I was sparring with like Jared because he was a stablemate of mine at the Team
Jared
USA.
Anderson?
Yeah, Jared Anderson.
Yeah.
And then I've sparred with guys like FA. I've sparred with a couple of the fellow Olympic guys that were like a gentleman from Romania, and some other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's slowed down a little bit, especially when you get up higher. Like the guys going 12 rounds, they slow down a lot more, and I think, well, I'm a firm believer that I'm the most conditioned heavyweight in boxing today. That's something I pride myself on. Like I don't think I'm the strongest. I don't think I might not be the fastest either, but I will be the most conditioned. The things that I can't control, I will control. And I think that pays dividends in the shows in my sparring sessions. You can see the guys getting tired in the mid rounds, and people question my conditioning already because I've only been 1 to 2 rounds. I haven't gone the full 6 even. And I want to tell them that, like, if you can't last 2 rounds with me, there's no way you can last 6. I continue and I keep that pace. And I would really love to show people that I can keep that pace. And I will one day. But if the fights keep going as they're going, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna be cautious. I don't want to play with any of these fighters. I mean, everyone's a heavyweight and they have a heavyweight punch. So if I see the opportunity, I'm gonna take the opportunity and get the knockout. But yeah, I think one of the big things that heavyweights have shown me is that I am very conditioned.
You mentioned Jared Big Baby Anderson. So this was actually one of my questions because you mentioned that you sparred with him. Now, the way that they're pushing Big Baby, they're pushing him real hard. But eventually, you guys will probably have to meet at some time and fight. Politics and stuff don't go out the way and things go as planned, of course. So how did that sparring session with Jared Anderson go for you?
So Jared and I are friends. Like we grew up in the same. We went to Junior World Championships together. We've been on the Team USA together. I know him pretty well, and he knows me as well. We in our sparring sessions. Our sparring sessions are like pay-per-view fights. If I'm being honest with you, people at the Olympic Training Center when we used to spar, like they'd be sparring and they'd stop just to watch us fight. It's very exciting. It's impact. Everyone like we work hard and we work well together. I'm rooting for Jared. I really am. I'm a fan of Jared's. I like watching him fight. And I hope that fight happens between us one day. I think it will be a very big fight. But as for now, I want to see how he rises just as much as I do. I think it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, and that's interesting you point that out because I remember on one recent broadcast on ESPN, Mark Kriegel had said, like, Top Rank is looking to build the future of its heavyweight division because obviously you have Tyson Fury now, but the future of its heavyweight division around Jared Allen and also Richard Torrez. I remember he mentioned that. You hear something like that, and you're starting to probably hear more of those conversations as you were saying a little bit here. Does that do anything for you? I don't know if it's reassuring or if it's just sort of like, hey, like that's cool, but like, forget it. I need to work harder anyway.
It's nice to know that people have high expectations of you, but it's also pressure to know that people have high expectations of you. And I take that in stride. I think I handle pretty well under pressure. I like it. I think it allows me to push myself harder. And at the end of the day, the most pressure I have is from myself, is trying to prove what I can actually do to myself. But I take it in strides. I go to my dad. I'm saying, "Hey, pops, they're thinking this, this, and this." And my dad will be the one that says, "Oh, that's fine. Go back to work." Like this is what we need to work on right now, though. And that's why I love having my dad in my corner. It's because he'll make sure we go from the big picture to the small picture, and because it's the small things are what make the big things happen.
And you mentioned that Jared is obviously your friend, and that you hope that fight happens one day. If you can pick a time, because he's a little more advanced in terms of his pro record or whatever the case may be. But if you could pick a time for that fight to happen, ideally, when would that be? Where would that be? For which title? Would it be for all the belts? Because we could be realistically talking about just 2-3 years down the line. It might be soonish. you know?
It might be. I think that fight has the potential as a mega fight, if I'm being honest with you. I think that with the trajectories that Top Rank is trying to push Jared and I, and if we follow suit and we just stick to the game plan, I think that fight can be something really big. And that might be for all the belts. That might be for just one belt. But whatever it will be, it'll be big. And so I think right now, in order to make that fight happen, I have to really push myself, not only in the boxing scene, but in the media scene as well. You know, I'm a firm believer that if we want some of these big fights to happen, people have to know about us. And so I'm working hard to make sure that happens too.